Changes coming to football in the ACC.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Tyler's Talking Sports. My name is Tyler, and you guessed it, on the other side here we have Tyler. This is Tyler's Talking Sports. And in this episode, we got something really special for you. But if you're tuned in on YouTube, be sure you subscribe. If you're on Facebook watching this thing, be sure you're giving us a follow and give us a like on that page. So, Castle, what are we talking about here?
Man, we got a big episode for you all. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips has rumored they might change the way the ACC conference title game is played. He'll be meeting with other coaches and athletic directors throughout the offseason to decide on what they'll be doing. Of course, all this derived from the 12-team playoff and how SMU entered the ACC Championship as the regular season champion and almost missed out on being selected in the 12-team playoff after losing to Clemson. ACC is considering giving the regular season champion a bye week and have the teams that finish second or third in the league play in the ACC Championship. Or there's also another model going around that could have the four top teams play on the final weekend of the regular season, first versus fourth and second versus third, with the winners playing the following weekend in the ACC Championship. What are your thoughts on this, and what could this mean for college football?
I mean, I just think you're trying to dilute the playoffs even more than what it already is. I think we all want the 12 best teams, and if you do the option where they play add four teams to kind of have their own little playoff between the ACC, you're adding extra games. These kids that are playing college, granted, they are exceptional athletes, but they don't have these personal trainers. They don't have these dietitians and stuff to get them prepared for these long seasons. I mean, they take a beating, an absolute beating. And you're looking at 17, almost 20 games they're going to be playing because we've already gave them 4 extra games they're playing in the playoff, or 3 extra if you take away a bowl game. And I think it's a stupid concept because let's just say, for example, they take the one option there where they do the 4 teams. And you have the top 4 teams, and say that would be probably Clemson. Let's say Clemson's number 1 seed, and then you have the 3 others. The 3rd and 4th team probably in the ACC. I mean, I could be wrong. They may blow it out of the water next year. But more than likely, that 3rd and 4th seed is going to be a 4 to 5 loss school. Let's say they get hot and they end up winning, they upset. Okay, now we're looking at maybe a 4 or 5 loss team making the playoff, which is taking a spot away from a team like an Alabama or a Georgia or a Tennessee or Ohio State or a USC or somebody like that. And you're just diluting the playoffs and taking a weak team because the automatic bid goes to that conference champion. And I know they're hanging their hat on, well, we won the regular season. We're claiming that as our conference championship. So what's the point of playing the conference championship game if you're just claiming that? And then the other aspect of it, say Clemson wins the ACC next year, and then they take that 2-3 matchup and put them in the ACC championship. So then again, you're looking at possibly a 4 to 5 loss school that got hot and won their ACC games. Say they lost all their non-conference games and won their ACC games, or did kind of like what SMU did this year. They played the bottom half of the ACC, and then they win the ACC championship game. Now they're in. I just think that takes away what we as fans and people are wanting. We want the 12 best teams, not the 12 teams that you're just trying to get in there so you can get more money to your conference.
I think that's what it boils down to, is money for the conference, for the ACC. They didn't like the idea of SMU missing out on the playoffs. Rightfully so, though. I mean, SMU had a great season. I do think they deserve to be in.
Right, absolutely.
And I'm sure as, probably a fan or the fan base or even a player of that team, the waiting period before the 12 team was released after that game, I'm sure that wasn't too fun to be a fan of, to not know if your team's going to make it in after losing the championship game. But let's remember, though, the playoff committee said that they would not hold the championship games against those teams that lost, and it was proven.
It was proven. I mean, but that's part of it, though, because we've seen them say stuff like that before, and then it kind of go against the grain a little bit. And I mean, as far as SMU is concerned, I thought they represented the ACC a lot better than Clemson did. I think they played Penn State very well. I mean, we've seen what Penn State did and how far they got. I mean, what was that, like a 2-score game? I mean, SMU was in that game for the most part. I mean, it just kind of
a lot of turnovers.
Yeah. So, I mean, they represent the ACC better than probably their golden child as Clemson did. So I just think the best possibility is, and another thing, that's not going to happen because it's not fair to the other conference, or it's not fair to the ACC. If anything, that's going to take talent away. That's people's like, I don't want to play in the ACC because now I got to play 2 extra games. I can go to the SEC and play 2 less games and still make the playoffs.
And why would you want to be a regular season champ and then take a bye week and let other 2 teams hash it out for the ACC championship?
Yeah, I don't get that either, because then what's my championship?
What's the point of getting a regular season champion if you're not the ACC champion?
And I get where that's coming from. He's taking that out of the basketball concept of where the regular season champ does get an automatic bid to the tournament.
Yeah, that way, again, it comes down to 2 teams. They want 2 teams.
They want 2 teams. The best thing to do, forget the whole ACC thing, for the 12-team playoff is to kind of take the NFL concept out into it and say, all right, you win your conference, you're in. And expand it. Don't just say your top 4. Say Mountain West. I
say at least expand it to 16.
Yeah, or not even that. You can just say the 6 conferences. Say 6 conferences. So you can say the ACC, the SEC, the Big 12, the Big 10, and then take the Mountain West or the American and say, okay, you win your conference championship, you're in, but then we will seed you based off where you're ranked. Yeah. Or based off a formula like the BCS or something, and say, okay, if you won your conference championship, but you're a 25th ranked team in the country, you're playing week 1. But if you're in the top 5, you're probably going to get a bye. And I think that's what we need to get to. We don't need to be adding extra games, and we don't need to be trying to force feed delusion or diluting the playoffs by putting a team in. Like, hypothetically,
this could be a big problem. I mean, if conferences start pushing back against the committee in the playoffs, I mean, this could be very disruptive with everything.
This is way out there, but I mean, there's talks about this. That's what I'm going to say here. I think we posted this on our Facebook a couple months ago. There's somebody out there wanting to take the football side of the NCAA and pull it out and make their own league out of it.
Yes,
and this is what we're getting to if this continues. So the best thing for that committee to do is establish grounds and say, this is what we're doing. This is how it's got to be. If you don't want to be part of it, then you don't be in the playoff. And I do think
you miss out on the playoffs. Also, too, you should be in tight. You have to join a conference. Notre Dame.
That's what I was about to say. I was going to say, if the ACC wants 2 teams, make Notre Dame join.
Make Notre Dame join the ACC
because they're in everything else.
Yeah, it just makes sense. I agree with that a lot. I think if they do start trying to do this models again, I think that's very disruptive with all the conferences. I think all conferences need to have the same rules. And legislation across the board. I mean, I think that's only fair to everyone, fair to all these players. And 2, it does need to be the 12 best teams. If we're keeping it to 12 teams, which I do think there needs to be some changes there, but if it is 12 teams, it needs to be the 12 best, not the best 12 looking teams, the 12 best teams.
Yeah, I mean, back to that thing.
Or money-wise is what I'm getting at. So
say that gets approved. And then Carson Beck, who's at Miami, leads them to the ACC, and they missed the ACC Championship regular season. Clemson beat them. They got the tiebreaker, so they play in the conference championship. And then Beck does what he did with Georgia in the SEC title. He tears his UCL. You just wasted the risk of injury to a star player to play extra games. It's ridiculous. I think that's a terrible concept, and I think it's a
risk to the players. It's a risk to the division. It's a risk for these universities to accept these terms. It's a lot.
Thing here, the SMU, they accepted no money from the ACC to join. They said, we'll pay our way. We don't need your help. We're paying our way. So they're not only risking their own income, they're risking their players. But my big thing is the ACC commissioner, I can't remember what you said his name was.
Jim Phillips.
He needs to get off of this whole FSU thing that happened 2 years ago.
Yeah,
that happened.
Still hung up on it.
They're all hung up on that. They still wouldn't have won the national title. That Florida State team would not have won a national title. I don't even care if they would have made the playoffs. They would have been humiliated just as easy as they were when they played Georgia in the Orange Bowl 2 years ago. So
I agree.
Don't do it. I think it's a terrible concept.
You all let us know your thoughts and comments, and like Hess mentioned, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube.
Yep. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, guys.
Thanks.
And also, one more thing. Y'all have a great one.
Great one. Thank you for tuning in to Tyler's Talking Sports. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to check out our full episodes available on all major podcasting platforms. We release two-hour episodes every week, airing Mondays and Thursdays at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, where we deep dive into the world of college sports. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook for more updates and exclusive content. Your support means the world to us. Thank you.